Be patient, honestly. I don't even know if that's a mistake. Well, it might be, because I feel like Fiverr and Upwork have such different algorithms. 3-4 months into the freelance life, and some days I'm like, is this real?
Hey, welcome back everyone. I'm Ishan Sharma, and in this video I'll be talking with Steffanie Moyers. She has been freelancing for over a year now, 14 months to be exact, and she recently crossed $100,000 as a freelancer on Fiverr. And in this video she talks about exactly how she got started, what was her strategy that made her a highly paid freelancer, and she talks about what tips she has for you. How can you get started if you are just a beginner in freelancing, if you have done some projects but you really don't know how to scale this business. She talks about exactly how to do that in this video. Make sure that you watch this video till the very end. The timestamps are available. You can move around if you want to. Make sure that you hit the like button and share this video with your friends. That would mean the world to me. And now let's get back into this video. Hey Steffanie, thank you so much for joining me here for this video. Let me know how are you doing, and first of all, congratulations for hitting $100,000 in revenue from Fiverr.
I'm good. This was exciting. It was a really big milestone for me because I've been on the site for a little over a year now, maybe like a year and a month or so, give or take. And I can't believe I just hit this as of the recording of this video within the last week. So I'm very excited, very grateful, and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Tell us about your journey. How did it all start? How did you know about freelancing? How did you decide your niche that you want to go into this area of content writing, copywriting? And how did you start off with getting your first client?
I initially found someone else you interviewed recently, Alexandra Fasulo, and she posted a TikTok about a year ago saying something just about how much money she had made on Fiverr, that she'd hit 6 figures doing copywriting. And I had always been a writer. It's been my passion. I've wanted to work for myself as a writer since I was a kid and struggled to figure out how to successfully do that. And during the pandemic, I came across her TikTok and I thought, if she did it, it's obviously possible. I'll give it a shot. I had never tried Fiverr before. I'd been on Upwork, but not so much success on there. So I was like, okay, I'll try Fiverr. That's what got me on there. And I started off offering very niche down things. So instead of just saying like, I'll write a blog for you, I had one that was like a health and wellness blog specifically, and then another one that's like a business blog. And I found that really helped me get my first clients because it was more specific than just, I will write a general blog for you.
Right. So what would the tips be for people who are just trying to get their first client? How can they optimize their gig? Should they be having multiple gigs, or how should they start with that?
Yeah, multiple gigs, definitely. I'd say if you're brand new to the site and you start a gig and you don't get a sale within maybe 2 weeks, especially if you're totally new, change it up, maybe put something new up or take one down and just keep playing with it until something hits. I think I had it was like a podcast research gig up initially that didn't get me anything for a week or two. And I took that down, and that's when I put up the specific blog ones, and that's what started to work for me. And something else that really helps optimize your gigs first thing is to create a good cover photo. You can just use Canva, totally free, just a nice picture of yourself. People want to put a face to a name, helps build trust. And I think that helps get sales too, because then they know that there's somebody real behind the service.
True. So tell me about, how does it feel when you convert your passion, something that you like doing like a hobby, into an actual thing that gets you your living, right? Because that's what I have been doing in the last 1 year. And especially for people that might be watching this video would be from India. From India, people, it's a lot harder to get to do something like that, like doing something that you actually love for the long time that actually pays your bills. So how does that feel like for you?
Amazing, and almost too good to be true, to be honest, because I understand that. I really do. Writing especially, there's that old cliche that starving artist and writers don't make any money. And so growing up, I would tell my parents I wanted to be a writer, and they would say well, you need to go to college and get a business degree or go something more traditional if you want to actually make money, because they were worried about me. And I get it, especially from our generation growing up. That's what our parents were taught to put down on us, is you have to go to school, you need a degree. And now our generations and beyond are proving that's not true. You don't have to have that in order to live out your life and pay your bills, like you said, and be successful. And it took a long time. I held down a traditional job, assisting an attorney actually during the pandemic while I was building up the freelancing. And it wasn't until end of May this past year, 2021, that I was able to fully go into freelancing. So it's still new to me. I'm 3-4 months into the freelance life, and some days I'm like, is this real? I don't have to I don't have to commute. Like, I don't have to go into a job. And some part of me is like, that's awesome. And then there's always that little fear in the back of my head that's like, this is too good to be true. You're probably going to have to go back to a job at some point. And I'm like, no. Shh, it's fine. This is real. It's okay. Just enjoy it. Like,
Amazing. What are your future plans? Like, are you a part of the FIRE movement, like the financial independence, retire early type of a thing?
oh gosh, yes. I am enjoying so much learning about everything to do with financial freedom because, especially over here, but I feel like possibly the majority of the world, we're not really taught the tools necessary to prepare ourselves for retirement, for investments, for purchases, especially in the United States. They really teach you almost nothing, and it's scary and a little bit sad. And so the last few years, I've just took it upon myself to read, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, I'll Teach You to Be Rich. I'm like obsessed with these finance books now because each of them has a different point of view. And as I become more self-employed, like I just started investing into the S&P 500 for the first time, in addition to my retirement fund. And
That's amazing.
It feels good, right? Like,
Yeah,
I would have never
definitely.
known without the books, but like, it feels nice, and like you're securing your own future. And I think that's where the comfort comes in.
Yeah. So like, what's your goal right now? Like, you'll be retiring by the age 30, 35, or what does that look like?
With copywriting, and I also do like book editing and stuff on Fiverr, I love doing it right now because I genuinely am passionate about it. It's something that excites me and that I'm good at, and it allowed me to work for myself. But my biggest goal is to be a full-time novelist. I'm more of a creative writer at heart, and I have 4 novels I've self-published on Amazon. My 5th one I'm working on now. Nothing's really happened with them. I didn't know too much about marketing in the past. It was more just for me. But my ultimate goal would be, financially, if I can retire from things like copywriting and book editing within the next 5 years and be able to just write novels and then have passive income from the novels. I'm like, that's the goal right there.
That's amazing. So one of the
be
questions that
great.
people actually think when they're trying to get freelance clients, should they be going after these freelancing platforms like you have Fiverr, Upwork and Freelancer and other ones, or they should try to also look at some, other ways like, contacting people on social media or trying to email people. So what works best according to you?
I personally had the most luck with Fiverr. I was on Upwork for maybe a year and a half beforehand, and I had some clients on there, but it was nothing consistent enough to be like a full-time living. And I think it's because Fiverr and Upwork have such different algorithms. Like for Upwork, you still have to apply sort of to jobs. You still look at postings, you send in a resume, you answer questions. It's very time consuming, and there's no guarantee you're going to get those leads. And Fiverr is the exact opposite. They just kind of funnel the leads to you. And it's hard at first. I know it can feel discouraging for anybody watching this if you've been on there for a little bit and you don't have any sales, but it's kind of a snowball effect. As soon as you start to get the first ones, go above and beyond, deliver early, do a little bit extra just to get those 5-star reviews, because the more of those you get, that's how Fiverr's algorithm puts you up, and you kind of get leads in your sleep. So I've been using this whole trickle theory. So that worked. And what I do is I'll screenshot my 5-star reviews, post it to social media like Instagram, TikTok, and then I see organically people DM me, hey, I see you're doing really great on this site. I see the services you offer. Do I have to book with you on Fiverr? And I'll say, nope, you can just email me and we go from there. But it serves as a little bit of like proof that you are already good at what you're offering.
Right. What are some mistakes that people often make when they first start freelancing, or maybe mistakes that you might have made when you were first starting out? What would you change if you were to go back in time and like tell yourself?
Be patient, honestly. I don't even know if that's a mistake. Well, it might be, because I feel like it's easier to give up and just think right away like, oh, this isn't working, or maybe Alex got lucky or Steffanie got lucky and it's not going to happen for me. And even still, I struggle with that a little bit, with the mindset of like, no matter how successful I've gotten, if things slow down a little bit in my brain, I'm like, oh, that's it. It's over. Like, it's done. And I think it's the mindset that we have to work on the most. Throughout this last year, I really think part of my success was very intentionally sitting down with myself and being like, okay, like I need to have a more positive mindset when sales are slow or clients aren't responding, or maybe they even flake out on you. Instead of freaking out or panicking or lowering your prices to get someone to come back, I had to kind of tell myself like, relax, like if someone didn't work out, it was for a reason, and something else always comes along. So I'd say really just honing in on not acting from a place of fear in order to be successful. And easier said than done. It's still a practice, but definitely mindset is a huge part of it for me.
Right. What would be like the skill that people should be pursuing for that would be like really like high paying on like sites like Fiverr and all, like if they want to start with this thing?
I would say practicing, if you really want to go for like copywriting or editing or something like that, just practicing on your own. So for myself, like I have always loved writing, but in terms of knowing how to copyright and knowing what makes a good blog and what doesn't, I just personally love to research on my own, which is a huge part of copywriting. Like being able to research things, being able to use pull quotes, in your blog and hyperlink it, but without it being the whole thing, just to kind of back it up. Like there's these little nuanced details that will make the difference to the client. And practicing on your own, and how I used to practice over the years, I had a blog and I would just write about something I cared about just to see. I'd be like, okay, maybe I saw a concert that I really loved, or maybe, someone in my family went through a mental health issue and I want to research the psychology and write about that just so I could kind of get the feel. And that actually did help me land clients. So if you don't have any to start and you're like, hey, here's 5 blogs I've personally written, if you can show someone that, it'll help you progress and learn and land those first clients.
Right. All right. Well, I have one last question for you, and that is, how can people try to get retaining clients?
I'd say going above and beyond and really just making sure you can encompass as much as the client is going for. And an example of that for me is I also offer book editing. So when I first started out, I would have people come to me. Most clients nowadays are publishing on ebooks anyway, like Amazon, something like that. So someone would come to me and say like, hey, edit this ebook, but then can you also write the back cover for me? Just the 2-paragraph summarization of the book. And then can you write my author bio? And then can you design my cover for me? And I'm not a graphic designer, but I design my own book covers just on Canva, again, totally free. And so that's when I started adding things on, and that can add up really quickly because then you're a one-stop shop. And like you said, if you can offer more things to a client, it makes it easier for them. And if you do a good job, like they're way more likely to just come back to you because they don't have to keep searching for 5 different people instead of just one to get the job done.
Right. Awesome. Steffanie, thank you so much for joining me here. I wish you all the best and I hope to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. Thank you for having me.
Sure. And that was the video. I hope you got to learn something from this. If you're still watching, just say I watched till the very end in the comment section. If you have any questions about whatever we have discussed in the video, let us know about that in the comment section as well. If you are interested to learn more about freelancing, I have a freelancing playlist that you can check out. The link for that will be again in the description. You can check out Steffanie's social handles again in the description. You can follow me on Instagram, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.